everyone. This is Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert, welcoming you back to another talk series for the Accelerate 2024 conference in the Pan Pacific in Vancouver on April the 24th to the 26th. And I am welcoming our most distinguished honorable guest, Henk Rogers. He is the founder of Blue Planet Alliance, amongst so many other things. My God, I don't know where you fit it all, but well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I am working on my mission number one, which is to end the use of carbon-based fuel. To that end, I've got a foundation in Hawaii called the Blue Planet Foundation, which put Hawaii on track. We basically passed a law in Hawaii that says Hawaii has to be 100% renewable energy for electricity by 2045. And 13 other states have copied our legislation. So that's including California, Illinois, and New York. And we're doing the same thing for countries now, starting with island countries, because we want to have the same domino effect happening outside. So we bring island countries to Hawaii, show them what we did, and then teach them how to do it back home.
Very nice. Well, dare I ask, like, how does Canada stack up?
How does Canada stack up? I don't even know that. I mean, we're starting small and working our way up, and we will get to Canada. The theory is that island countries are the worst hit by climate change, and they pay the most for energy because they import either diesel or natural gas or whatever it is over long distances. And so it's the most expensive way to make electricity. So they're the hardest hit. So they're our first target. If you think about the small island developing states, the SIDS countries, that's over 25% of the votes in the United Nations. So I think it's a good start if we get them all on our side. We get them to sign an agreement that says that we're going to help them achieve 100% renewable energy in their jurisdiction, and they become part of the alliance. So those are the things that we do.
That's so cool. Now, there's nothing you don't do. Like, I mean, I was reading your bio. You're the founder of a battery company that you're like completely, I guess preppers have your picture as a poster, like, as like they must adore you, right?
So the idea of batteries, it came to me. It was sort of I backed into it. We passed a law in Hawaii that helped the solar industry. We had a boom in solar. 37% of the rooftops in Hawaii today have solar on them. Ooh. And the electric company said, no, we can't handle that much on the grid. And so we're going to stop allowing solar to be connected to the grid. Oh my gosh. So what do we do now? And the answer is that we have to have storage. And the storage is so that you can store your own solar, whatever energy you caught during the day, you can store it and use it at night. So you become actually independent. And that's what I did to my ranch. It's what I did to my house. And it's, yes, preppers are going to need it. Anybody who lives far from the grid is going to need it. But I think that distributed energy, like microgrids, if everybody had rooftop solar and we just shared our electricity with each other when there's not enough, for example, that's the way of the future. It gives us resilience. It's not like we're depending on all these cables that go hundreds of miles across nature to get us our electricity. And if you want to think about, in times of crisis, look at what's going on in Ukraine. The Russians are targeting the power stations. Of course they are. Wow. You can cripple a country by taking out the power infrastructure. It wouldn't take a lot to take out the power infrastructure in either Canada or the United States. There are single points of failure, and we can get rid of them by having distributed energy.
Do you remember the blackout?
I remember the blackout. Yeah,
I don't even know where you were.
It was very interesting. I'm at my ranch, and all of a sudden the internet goes down. And I call my IT guy. I said, "What's wrong with the internet?" And he said, "Look out your window." And then normally when I look out the window, I see the lights and down below at Waikoloa, there were no lights. All of Hawaii was down. I mean, the big island of Hawaii was down. That's why you don't have electricity. Your provider is down. It's not, But of course, we didn't know because we're off grid. So, that is the future, is where everybody's off grid. And, you live in a place like California where when the wind blows, they basically do blackouts, and rightly so. But again, if we don't have to have our electricity coming to us on wires on wooden poles, then we're safe from that kind of situation.
That's amazing. Now I'm going to ask, how did you get involved in this? Now I read your background, so I know you're kind of famous. Like, did you even meet, the actor? Like, I'm a big fan of the actor who's playing you.
Yeah, I did. I went to England and did a cameo. This is after most of the shot. We're talking about a movie called Tetris
Okay,
on
yeah,
Apple TV
I
Plus. And yes, I was involved in the script, and I would have been there during the shooting, but it was filmed during COVID. As a result, everybody, including the film crew and everybody, was in a bubble.
Oh my God.
And I would have had to quarantine for 2 weeks to get into the bubble. I just don't have that kind of time. And I didn't know what kind of movie it was going to be. I thought it could have been a horrible movie. I had no idea.
Not a
Turned
horror.
out to be a great movie.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
great.
had to shoot a couple of extra scenes after. So they built the whole, I don't know, my office in Japan, and my banker's office in Japan, and my apartment in Japan. They built all these things in a what is called a sound stage. And it was an opportunity for me to do a cameo. So I flew over and watched them do that. Oh my gosh, the production value is incredible.
Is it? So just for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Tetris is a game. I'm 54 and like I remember Tetris. So I don't even know when Tetris started, but the founder of Tetris is sitting right here, and Taron Egerton, who I love, is playing him in this Apple Plus movie that came out. Was it in March? So it came
Yeah,
out.
it was last March.
Yeah, so last March.
A year ago. It's been out for a year, and it's done very well. But I mean, it's on the Apple TV Plus, so it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't in movie. It's not like it made millions in the movies.
Right, exactly. And so tell us about how you got into all of this. It started with Tetris, but then how did all this like environmentalist stuff start?
So a quick wrap of, I was in the computer game business for like 30 years. I wrote the first role-playing game in Japan, became a publisher, traveled the world looking for games to bring to Japan, found Tetris. And that's around the time that Game Boy came out. And I thought, ooh, Tetris is the perfect game for Game Boy. And so what I did is I got on a plane on it with a tourist visa and went to got the Game Boy rights to Tetris. So that's my claim to fame. I didn't write Tetris. It's a Russian guy. He is my partner till today.
Okay, good.
And but fast forward, I started a company that made games for mobile phones, and I sold that company for a lot of money. A month after that exit, so to speak, I found myself in the back of an ambulance with 100% blockage of the widowmaker. That's the largest artery in your heart. 95% of the people who have that particular thing happen to them die. So in that ambulance, I did not know any of that. I just knew that I was in deep kimchi. And so I said to myself, the first thing I said is like, what are you talking about? I haven't spent any of the money yet. This is just after I sold my company. But the second thing I said, no, I'm not going. I still have stuff to do. And I got to thinking about what is stuff. And I worked it backwards from the end of my life. What is it that's going to upset me if I didn't do something about it by the end of my life? And I found my mission. Mission number one came to me in the newspaper. It said, oh, by the way, we're going to kill all the coral in the world by the end of the century. And I said, no, we're not. What's causing that? Ocean acidification. What's causing that? Carbon dioxide being absorbed into the ocean. Well, we got to stop doing that. Where's the carbon dioxide coming from? It's internal combustion. It's how we make electricity, coal, oil, and gas. And it's like, okay, we must end the use of carbon-based fuel. That's it. That's the mission. And of course, after I did a little bit of research, found out that carbon dioxide is behind climate change. So, I mean, for whatever your reason is, like, stop doing it. I don't care what your reason is. You can do it for economic reasons. You can do it for political reasons. But you can do it for environmental reasons. I don't care what it is, as long as you do it.
I can't
doing
believe
it.
I can't believe we have a heart attack to thank for all this.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call, and I hope that everyone who's listening to this doesn't wait for their heart attack to find out what their missions in life are. Because, you know, the way you do it is you just write your epitaph and you find out, hey, is this the actual epitaph I want to have on my gravestone? This is how I want to be remembered. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And if it isn't, then you're going to have to change your life so that it comes in line with what you actually want to be remembered at. And it's not about legacy. It's just about living a life well lived. You know, I don't want to be on my deathbed and say, oh, damn, I should have done this. I could have done this, and so on and so forth. Those are all regrets. And I say, when you're out of time and you want to do all these things and you don't have any more time, I think that's hell. I think heaven is when you are lying there and say, yeah, you know, this has actually been a good life. I did everything I could. I completed my missions in life. And then I was, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Well, guys, I just want for our viewers to know that you can come and watch Henk in action, in person, on, do you know your slot? April the 25th, 12 to 2 p.m. over lunch. He is our big, famous headliner, keynote speaker, and we are so thrilled that you're going to be headlining this conference that brings together all the disruptors and the thought leaders and people who are going to be shaping the future of business and giving information about whether these businesses are going to survive or sink because of what's coming.
They will adapt.
Yes, hopefully.
Will adapt.
The ones that do
You
that.
know, look at it this way: the electric company in Hawaii, who was fighting against us in the legislature, today they're completely on our side because we changed their business model, so they make more money by switching to renewables.
Wow.
And so it's a win-win-win. The people win, the environment wins, and they make more money, so they win. Their shareholders win, and that can be done. And I just like to close. People ask me if I have hope. And I say, no, I don't have hope. I have determination because we're going to fix this.
I
This
love
is
it.
not about hope. Nobody's going to save us. We have to save ourselves.
I love it. Thank you so much for your powerful message, for taking the time. And I can't wait to see you in Vancouver.
Look forward to it. Take care.